Welcome everyone. Myself Ashish Venkatesh Prabhugaonkar, Assistant Professor at DCT's Dempe College of Arts and Science. This module is for program Bachelor of Science 3rd year, subject Botany, semester 6. Course code is BOD 104. Course title Biofertilizers. Title of this unit is Quality Control of Biofertilizers. Module name under quality control of biofertilizers is standard parameters for quality control and quality management procedures. In this module, we are going to learn standard parameters for quality control of biofertilizers and quality management procedures in biofertilizers. At the end of this module, students should be able to explain about standard parameters for quality control and describe the quality management procedures. To begin with, when a farmer sees a packet of a biofertilizer, he should see following things: name of the product, name of the crop for which it is intended, different strains of different microbial fertilizers are intended for use in different crops. So, the crop which is intended for is very important. Name and address of manufacturer. Date of manufacture is also very important, as generally biofertilizers have 6 months of shelf life. It should not be crossed. Date of expiry will be written on the packet, because different type of formulations will have different expiry period. So, date of expiry should be checked. Batch number and instructions for use also will be there. Different formulations will have different application methods, which should be also read well by the farmer before use of biofertilizer. Also, for achievement of desired results and benefits from the biofertilizer, packet has to be used before expiry, and it should be only used in a specified crop which is intended for its use, and the recommended application method which is given in the instruction should be followed carefully. Let's look at different regulatory provisions for quality assurance in biofertilizer. Till 2006, BIS standards were followed for assessment of quality for 4 types of biofertilizers. Only 4 types of biofertilizers manufacturers were able to apply for BIS standards, and it was kind of voluntary certifications taken by the companies itself, and only few commercial producers went for such certification, and there were many producers which were selling biofertilizers just like other compost and other organic fertilizers. They were selling without any certification. The quality of biofertilizer is a kind of concern, as the lack of quality causes lack of faith in such fertilizers by the farmers, and in terms decrease in use of such fertilizers by farmers. To promote such of issues coming up and reduction in trust of farmers in biofertilizers, government of India brought biofertilizers, namely Rhizobium, Azotobacter, Azospirillum, phosphate solubilizing bacteria. All these are major biofertilizers. They were brought under Fertilizer Control Order 1985 in 2006. The Fertilizer Control Order was the order which was controlling the chemical fertilizers generally earlier, before 2006. So, the biofertilizers were brought under the ambit of this Fertilizer Control Order in 1985. So, under Fertilizer Control Order, there were kind of various provisions which controlled production and manufacture and distribution of fertilizer. through which these manufacturers of the biofertilizer have to go through. So under this statutory provision of fertilizer control order, biofertilizer production and sales have to be regulated, and it is mandatory. Okay, you have to understand this. It is mandatory for registration of every manufacturing unit now with the state fertilizer controller, and with certain guidelines to be followed under that fertilizer control order. Under fertilizer control order, every district, one of the officers of generally agricultural department, may not be, it may be from some other research institute also, but officer is declared as a fertilizer inspector, and a fertilizer inspector is authorized to inspect production and storage facilities of biofertilizer. He is authorized to draw sample for quality analysis. He can draw the sample and check whether the viability of the biofertilizer is maintained during various stages of transport, storage, the manufacturing, whether it meets the quality standard given under the fertilizer control order. So here comes the question of quality analysis, and the officer has to send the sample drawn to the one of the centers of National Center of Organic Farming. So under this provisions, National Center for Organic Farming is authorized to test the samples of organic fertilizers. So it is centered at Ghaziabad, and the center has 6 regional centers: Bhubaneswar, Bangalore, Jabalpur, Nagpur, Hisar and Imphal. So Goa may be coming under Bangalore's circle. So the sample has to be tested in such laboratories and certified. Recently, more biofertilizers were also brought under ambit of fertilizer control order, that is potash mobilizing bacteria, zinc solubilizing biofertilizers, mycorrhizal biofertilizers. So all these have to be certified under the registered and certified under the fertilizer control order. So for better application of biofertilizer and better benefit to the farmer, the biofertilizer should be able to deliver maximum benefit to the farmer. For that, a better formulation at the time of formulating a biofertilizer by the manufacturing company or the formulation devising laboratory is very important. So this can be done by the microbiologists who are devising the formulation by selecting a right kind of carrier material. The carrier material should be as such that the microorganisms used should be viable for as much long duration as possible. They should be able to tolerate the stresses like temperature stress or the transportation stress. All these stresses they should be able to withstand. So different kind of carrier material, peat, vermiculite, lignite powder, etc. are very popular, and the choice of the carrier material for particular microorganism should be made considering various factors like transportation, also the contamination. The kind of contamination expected during the transportation and application of the biofertilizer should be avoided by selecting particular kind of carrier material which is resistant for such kind of contamination. So all this is taken care while devising a formulation. So a common practice for better shelf life of biofertilizer formulation, a carrier or mixture of such carrier material are selected based on the viability of microorganism which are to be mixed with it. Similarly, pre-sterilization of the carrier material such as like lignite, vermiculite, or whatever is selected, it should be pre-sterilized to get contamination free carrier material. Such formulations which are devised from pre-sterilized carrier material have better shelf life. The enrichment of nutrients also can be done to the carrier material, like sucrose, maltose, trehalose, glucose. So all these enrichment material nutrients added should be also suitable for particular kind of microorganism which is beneficial to grow and not suitable for other competing microorganisms. So this will also at the formulation stage gives better storage life and better shelf life and better efficiency to biofertilizer. Quality standards are available for rhizobium biofertilizers. At the formulation devised for as a biofertilizer, when it goes to the market, should be having certain parameters devised by fertilizer control order. Okay, and then this specification contains parameters like microbial density at the time of manufacture of the biofertilizer, the amount of microbial cells per gram of biofertilizer. These are living cells, okay, not the dead cell. Amount of living cells inside per gram of biofertilizer. The specification will be given for particular biofertilizer which to be meet. The density of the microorganism, not even at the stage of manufacture or sending it to the market. The density of the microorganism should be tested at the expiry period. For example, 6 months is the expiry period of the biofertilizer. A farmer buys the fertilizer at the 5th month, then he also should be able to get the complete benefit, as he is paying complete money and he is using it for his crop. So the expiry period should be the time when where the microbial density should be counted ideally. The permissible contamination level, it is not that any substance will be completely free of any contaminants or any other external living cells, but the permissible contamination level should be also met. The pH should be ideally neutral, as it should not be interfering with the soil pH. If your pH is acidic or alkaline, it will interfere with the soil pH and ability of the crop to grow. The moisture level should be ideal. Around 40 to 45% is the ideal moisture level which is required for the cells to keep alive, but the contamination should not occur, or it should not be sticky or pasty material which is difficult to apply. The microbial strain should be a very good strain, very potent or viable strain which is in active growth stage. So these are some ISI standards which are prescribed for Rhizobium and Azotobacter. You can see the parameters, the base or the carrier material which should be specified and should be the approved one. Cell number 10⁸ gram 8 per gram of carrier. For Azotobacter it is 10⁷ per gram per carrier. That is around almost 10 lakh cells per gram of carrier material. That is viable cell count. That is done by serial dilution method, which you will be learning also in the practicals. The serial dilution method of testing of the viable cell count. So the sample should be drawn from the biofertilizer which is out for sale, and then the cell count should be done, and then the cell count should be minimum at this level. It can be above this, but below this it will not be permitted under fertilizer control order. Expiry period of minimum 6 months after date of manufacture. Permissible level of contaminants is also given for particular biofertilizer. pH should be around neutral, 6 to 7.5 it is given here for Rhizobium. The strain should also be tested serologically in some conditions. the different types of strains of there, especially in Rhizobium, there are many strains which are applied in different kind of crops. So strain selection for particular crop is also very important. The carrier material should be 150 to 212 micron for Rhizobium it is given. So size of the carrier material should be such that the material should be able to stick to the seeds to pass on the microbial cell, or to able to for the microbial cell to be able to infect the seed and give the desired benefit. So that specification should be also met. For Rhizobium there is something called nodulation test. So in nodulation test, we grow the plant with the treatment of biofertilizer and see whether it is able to produce nodulation. So these are some of the procedures for quality control of biofertilizer. So pre-culture test, pit test also is given. So in pre-culture test, growth, purity, gram staining of the culture to see the cell size and the microscopical check for purity is done. Viable cell count is one of the very important tests where the cells are grown in the serial dilution method. The pit test should be tested for pH and moisture content, which should be ideally 40 to 50%, which I have just now mentioned. The pH can be adjusted with calcium carbonate. The most probable number method for infection analysis, where the nodulation test is done. The nodulation, here is the procedure, and the nodulation number of nodules occurring on the plant is kind of criteria for certification of rhizobial biofertilizers. There are many constraints in quality control of biofertilizers, like there are many technical constraints. There are legislative constraints also, as the stringent law also measures when it ensures the quality of biofertilizers. It also restricts many small scale biofertilizer producers from producing and marketing such product. There are environmental constraints which are a major constraint in biofertilizer application, like temperature, pH, which doesn't allow microbes to grow in the field and give the desired benefit to the crops. These are my references. Thank you.